run and shoot offense for the Saints with these little receivers, right? I used to see a lot of that here in Houston with Warren Moon.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, guys, let's kind of wrap it up. The Saints running back situation. We know Marcus Murphy had a concussion. He has passed the NFL protocol for concussions, so he will be back on the field. Lasco, I hadn't heard much of anything about him. Brendan, have you heard if he's going to return on this final preseason game or not?
The last thing I heard regarding Daniel Lasco is he came out after the game against the Steelers and said that he was fine. It was nothing more than a concussion. I have no word. I haven't heard anything about him possibly playing Thursday at all.
Okay. That would be interesting because that is the battle, or that is the wonderment. Are they going to keep Murphy as a punt returner or kick returner? You saw C.J. Spiller back there. If they keep Tommy Lee Lewis, he could be the person fielding some of the punts. But he hasn't really shown to me in the game setting that he can be able to return or be as effective as Marcus Murphy. But to be fair to him, he did have a couple of fair catches on his end. One of those fair catches he could have tried to make an attempt to return the football. But, that's going to be what's going to happen there. So hopefully we will see if Lasco, Murphy, or whomever will be able to have a chance to be able to make the squad for the New Orleans Saints. And my guess is I don't think the Saints really want to part with Daniel Lasco. Anybody disagree?
I think you're right on. He hit another one that lived up to his expectations, because our draft analyst for Sports NOLA is Al Dupuy, and his evaluation of Daniel Lasco from back during the draft has been spot on. So that's one position area at running back that with Homa being released, you see all the other guys as being real NFL players.
Yeah,
Travaris Cadet and Tim Hightower and Mark Ingram and Daniel Lasco and C.J. Spiller and Marcus Murphy. You could see all of them as being real NFL talents, and it's going to be a decision that the Saints have got to make first. How many are you going to keep, and how versatile can whoever they keep be? How many other things can they do besides just running back?
Yeah. Definitely. It's going to also be interesting to see how the tight end situation kind of plays out as well. We had a big injury. We haven't heard anything more about H-Man, Anybody heard anything, any buzzwords about what's happening with him, Rim, or Brendan, or Coach?
Nothing from me. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, they've been pretty quiet about that. And
extraordinarily quiet. Yes.
Yeah,
well, even for them, they've been quiet.
Yeah, that ankle injury did not look good.
It did not.
No, definitely.
But they released one of their other tight ends, so and then they're going to keep three, so they're whittled that down. Fleener and Hill.
And
so
what's the other guy? Mertz or Hertz? The other guy, Mahertz or something like that. He's still on the chart, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Manhertz.
Manhertz, yeah. Okay, guys. Well, let's see what's going to happen on tomorrow night. In NFL news, we had a unfortunate incident with Teddy Bridgewater. Man, that really hurt to see how that young man went down. Golly, I think he was poised for a big year this year. So Teddy Bridgewater dislocated his knee as well as his ACL, was injured in non-contact fashion. And we're starting to see too much of this happening in the National Football League. Is it the diet? So what's going on? I mean, what's contributing to these ACLs just being popped without people really being around to you don't see any hits happening. And with Bridgewater, that was just really strange, Brendan.
Personally, I think maybe it's the workload. Let's be honest. These guys work day and night to perfect their craft. I can even say it being at a college for majority of my time. I know these football players are up and in the weight room at sometimes at 4 a.m, go to class, and then have drills until 10 o'clock at night. And these are guys that are 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, maybe 24. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at professional players that you have that little bit of time frame where they're really at their athletic peak. But then you also have these veterans that are 30, almost 40 years old sometimes. How do you expect the human body to work as hard as some of them do? And maybe we're at the point where, the NFL came out and said, oh, you can only wear pads, full pads for so many practices throughout the season. Some of them have to be non-contact, et cetera, et cetera. Well, maybe we really have to look into how many practices these guys have, how often are they in the weight room, et cetera, et cetera. I really think it's just stresses on the human body at this point.
Well, let's pray that he gets well, man, and you might have something there. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you guys think it may have something to do with the amount of fields that are no longer natural grass? Do you think that might have something to do with it as well?
Good point. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah. There are so many variables in this particular equation that it would be hard to say no, that something is not a factor. Certainly training, technique, time, recovery, even though that is pretty highly monitored and we're getting somewhat sophisticated in how that happens during the course of the year. Do they take enough time off in the off season to allow themselves to recover from the previous year? But certainly but along with it, fields could be a part of that, and the fact that you're practicing both on grass and turf, and there's different stresses put on different body parts through each one. But we're seeing so many non-contact knee injuries now that it's head scratching. We had one here with the number one prospect in the state of Louisiana at the prep level, Lowell Narcisse, from my old school at St. James, was committed to Auburn, is now committed to LSU. The one, if not the first prospect, maybe the 1B prospect in the state as an athletic quarterback. And last year in the spring, he injured his right ACL, but actually came back and played in the playoffs last year. And then in the Jamboree last week, running up the sideline, non-contact situation, his left ACL gets torn, and now he's out for the season. Bridgewater is a real head scratcher to me because it was in a non-contact, it was in a drop back and set up type of situation, but it was his left knee. Not only that the ACL was damaged, but the knee became dislocated. Now, when I don't know the nature of when you say a dislocated knee, was at the patella that became dislocated, which is serious enough when that just slides to the side. And that's pretty interesting when you look at somebody's knee and the kneecap is on the left side. That's an interesting look. Or was there like a real dislocation? Well, with them only saying that it was the ACL, then perhaps the femur tibial area, maybe that didn't get dislocated. But now that's your left leg. That's not the leg that he plants on in a normal drop back. So that very well could have been some movement to the side to his left, where you're going to stick your left foot in the ground and then get yourself back up to balance to throw the football. But weird that it's in non-contact, weird that it's his left leg at a drop back. I said set up situation, that there was a dislocation in it. But going back to the original concept and question, there are so many variables in this. And when you talk to medical professionals, sometimes they'll just go, well, that's just what it is. Okay. Hey, thanks, Doc. I appreciate the insight there. Yeah. But I've had that answer before. Hey,
I wonder if their frontal cortex was actually
the prefrontal cortex. That's right. That may have been overstrained by their 20-hour days when they were in medical school.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. So I wanted to touch on the Colin Kaepernick statements, but I think a lot of people have said just enough on it. We can talk about that later. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay with us throughout the NFL season. This final game, guys, what are you looking for, Remy, from this team?
Well, I said last week that I wanted to see them hold on to the ball, and they did a much better job of that this past week. They only fumbled once, I believe. So I'd like to see more of that. But since we are going to play our starters, I want to see some starter football from our starters. That's basically it. I want to see our offense move that ball down the field like the starting offense that we became accustomed to under the Sean Payton era. I want to see our starters, especially since they're probably going to be going against second stringers, move the ball.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, if they go against second and third stringers, if they can't move the ball, we still have some serious problems, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Brendan, what are you looking for?
Something extremely similar. I want to see the Saints move the football in terms of the running game. You brought up the statistic with Mark Ingram, like 1.9 yards per carry so far this preseason. That's just ridiculously terrible. So I'm looking for the Saints to move the ball in terms of the running game. I think Drew Brees it's been an up and down preseason, mostly because of the offensive line, but he's put up good statistics so far this preseason. And let's be honest, Drew Brees is Drew Brees. I'm not too concerned about that. The other thing I'm looking at is these two players we did bring in with McCain and Paul Kruger. I'm curious to see if they play at all tomorrow, if it's just third and long situations where you really need some guys to rush the passer or not. And I'm really excited to see some of these guys. We all know you got to get from 75 to 53 guys. These guys that are on the bubble, this is their last shot. Mm-hmm. And I think the fourth preseason game is the most exciting preseason game to watch because even though it's not a ton of starters, you don't know a ton of these names, for a lot of these guys, this is the last chance they will ever have to put on an NFL uniform, and they got to earn a spot on the team. So I'm excited to watch those guys give it their all.
Good. And let me correct myself. Mark Ingram did not have a 1.9 average. He has a healthy 2.2 average per rush.
All right, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry. 0.3.
Accuracy is everything.
I apologize, man. It's my fault. I'm sure I'm going to get a call from the Saints. Okay, Professor. He's still on this conference call. Okay, Coach, what are your last thoughts for the listeners to? Or what are you looking for the New Orleans Saints to do in this fourth and final preseason game?
Mine this week is going to be very simple. Give me some hope.
Keep hope alive.
Anywhere. I need hope in something because I was not encouraged last week. I need something to be encouraged about. Surprise me. I don't care where it is, but give me some reason to believe. Give me some hope this week, and I'll be anxious to see, and I'll be searching and scratching and clawing and trying to find something with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Coach, hey, I understand. I am right there with you. We got to see some marked improvement for the Saints. Guys, this is Kyle T. Mosley with the Saints News Radio Network. We're going to be on next week. Kind of give a little synopsis of what's going on. We're also going to have our kickoff show in a couple of weeks as well. So stay tuned to that. Professor, Remy, Brent.